Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatir-uttama-shloke bhaktir-bhavati naistiki. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Gnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri-gurave namaha. Shri Chaitanya-manobhishtam sthapitam yena bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri-guru Shri-yuta Padakamalam Shri-gurun Vaishnavanshcha Shrirupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Hare Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna. Welcome everybody. So these set of verses, like I said yesterday, are super insightful. So we'll go through. Okay, so this is the life of Sri Narada Muni in his previous janma, previous birth. पुरातीत भवे भवं मुने दास्यास्तु कस्याश्चन वेदवादिनां निरूपितो बालक एव योगिनां शुश्रूषणे प्रावृषि निर्विविक्षताम्. O Muni, in the last millennium, I was born as the son of a certain maid servant engaged in the service of Brahmanas who were following the principles of Vedanta. Veda Vadinam, followers of Vedanta, Prabhupada has translated. When they were living together during the 4 months of the rainy season, Chaturmasya, I was engaged in their personal service. So she was, his mother was a maid servant. So she was engaged in the service of actually devotees. Prabhupada explains saying Vedanta Vadis means actually devotees. And previously people used to stay in one place during Chaturmasya. So they were staying in that place, those devotees. His mother was engaged in service of the place where they were staying, and he also engaged in their personal service. So this is very fortunate. So he was not just engaged in some service around there, he was engaged in personal service of those devotees. The Prabhupada purport we'll read. So I'm going to read both Srila Prabhupada's purports and relevant places. I will also read Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's purports. Okay, so here Prabhupada is saying the wonder of an atmosphere surcharged with devotional service to the Lord is briefly described herein by Sri Narada Muni. So there is an atmosphere surcharged with devotional service. Why? because these are devotees, and when devotees are there, the atmosphere is surcharged with devotional service, because devotees don't engage in discussion of any other topics. It is only topics about Krishna and bhakti, and so the atmosphere becomes surcharged. So this is very, very important. Actually, if we want to, that is why I keep encouraging devotees to attend some program. Every weekly once you should attend one congregation of devotees, right? Where devotees come together, do kirtan, Shravanam, Arti, Prasadam, etc. Because we might say, okay, I'm doing devotional service at home every day, but the atmosphere is not surcharged with devotional service at home. Atmosphere will, Grasta life best be lukewarm. Meaning, some part of the day it is surcharged maybe, but the rest of the day it's pretty lukewarm. We are engaged in our own material consciousness, material responsibilities, etc., etc. So it cannot be surcharged. So we need that real extra energy to at least when I was working, I used to think of these Sunday satsangs, either at the temple or wherever. I used to think of it as recharge batteries. Spiritual batteries have to be recharged to be able to deal with the asat sangha that we are in, right? So working means asat sangha. We are engaged with non-devotees, and to protect ourselves from being contaminated by that association, we need to recharge our batteries, and by the end of the week again the batteries are discharged, because we are constantly struggling with our consciousness, the way we are dealing with others, and what we read, how we behave, all seem contradictory. So we have to keep fighting. Okay, I have responsibility to do, I have to just do it. So that surcharged atmosphere is very, very important. So we have to engage in surcharged atmosphere. So that is why we are at least trying in multiple places to have satsang, so that at least we can all, devotees can come together and experience this atmosphere. He was the son of the most insignificant parentage. He was not properly educated. So while Narada Muni became a great devotee, great knowledgeable devotee, previous life he was son of most insignificant parentage. He was not properly educated. So here Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that there is no cause for pure bhakti other than the fortunate mercy of the devotees of the Lord, which we'll come to in the next verse. But there is no other cause. So there is no material qualification, or austerity and other processes are not the cause. So to illustrate this, Narada Muni is talking about his previous birth. How he was, he had very insignificant parentage, right? He was not properly educated. Still, because his complete energy was engaged in the service of the Lord. So this is another thing. Atmosphere was surcharged. His complete energy was engaged in the service of the Lord. Because of this, he became an immortal sage. Such is the powerful action of devotional service. So devotional service is so powerful. But important point is this complete energy being engaged in the service of the Lord. We engage partially our energy in the service of the Lord. It won't be ahetuki apratihata. When bhakti is ahetuki apratihata, then it is atma suprasidati. It will please the atma. Atma will be happy. Will be happy. Right, but this complete energy today is most of the energy is drained worthlessly in material pursuits. So somehow we have to, if we are in this atmosphere, surcharged atmosphere, somehow we will get inspired to engage more and more of our energy for Krishna. Now, otherwise, we will engage more and more of our energy in material things. So that atmosphere, creating that atmosphere is very, very important. Or being in an atmosphere which is surcharged is important. Prabhupada further says, from the personal example of Sri Narada Muni in his previous birth, it is clear that the service of the Lord begins with the service of the Lord's bona fide servants. And so like here it is being said, saying, he engaged in their personal service. The Lord says that the service of his servants is greater than his personal service. Bhaktya me adikaha. So service of his servants is greater than personal service. And therefore, one must accept such servant as the Guru and engage himself in his service. Such a Guru is the transparent medium by which to visualize the Lord. By service of the Guru, the Lord consents to reveal himself in proportion to the service rendered. So this is the key. So one is here, Narada Muni was fortunate to, to render personal service. Here, Prabhupada is saying, okay, it is important to render service to Lord servants is more important than serving the Lord. Therefore, one must accept such a servant as the Guru and engage himself in the service. But what more importantly, by service of the Guru, because everybody, some time or the other, they have to come to the stage of initiation. Because if we are not accepted by a Guru, then Krishna will not accept us. By service of the Guru, Lord consents to reveal himself. So if we don't serve pure devotees, if we don't serve Guru, then the Lord will not reveal himself to us. Because Krishna consciousness or realizing Krishna is a matter of revelation by Krishna. It is not our, it's not like I have the right to know Krishna, so Krishna has to reveal himself. No, it is not like, there's no rules here. There's nothing like, we cannot say, I was so strict, I followed devotional service, Lord has to reveal himself to me. No, that is the mercy of the Lord. But when we do sincerely, we, to the extent of our service, to the extent of our surrender, the Lord will reveal himself. So that is what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Tadami buddhi yogam tam. He will reveal himself. He will give us the intelligence so that we can come to him, more closer to him, can get more closer to him. So this service, which is why, service to Guru or service to any pure devotees, but generally pure devotees are not available in one place, and we can't fix our mind on any one devotee service. So that is why Guru, he becomes a critical link, because he is a bona fide servant, he is a pure devotee. So by service of Guru, then Krishna will reveal himself to us. And so this spiritual life is two rails. One is Krishna, the other is Guru. And it is useless literally to get initiated namesake. I am initiated by this such and such a Guru. This is my spiritual name. I am now chanting on Tulsi beads. It is worthless because it is just namesake. So one has to really figure out how can I engage in my Guru's service. Otherwise, actually, like our Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Vikas Maharaj says that one should not get initiated. If they have no clarity that they want to surrender, they want to dedicate their life for Krishna's service, then they should not get initiated. Because it will be a simply mockery of the process. So we have to develop that. And how will we develop that seriousness? By serious association, by hearing in the association of devotees who have that mood. We will also develop that mood. Actually, Bhagavatam, all purports are actually in this mood only, of complete surrender, of completely offering ourselves to the Lord, not wasting life in sense gratification. This is the mood of Prabhupada's purports. So there is nothing apart from pure devotional service in Prabhupada's purports. Right? But somehow, unfortunately, in ISKCON, there is so much of dilution that this mood is lost. So we should make sure that we don't lose this mood and just engage in bhakti as like, okay, so this is good. I'm having fun. People say, okay, are you having fun today? You're all at the temple. Are you enjoying yourself? A very wrong question to ask. We are not supposed to enjoy ourselves. Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. He is Govinda. We have to please his senses. Then our senses will automatically be pleased. Prabhupada writes this in Bhagavad Gita, first chapter. But still, we have not read Prabhupada's books properly. So we ask, we are here to enjoy. So are you enjoying? Hope you all enjoyed this kirtan. No. How can we enjoy kirtan? Krishna is the one who has to enjoy the kirtan. Anyway, so the point is that to the extent of service rendered, Lord will reveal himself. Prabhupada says illusion of Maya is at once dissipated as soon as one's full energy is used in the service of the Lord. So this is also a solution to people who say, I'm caught up in Maya. So what is the solution? Use your full energy in Krishna's service. Then automatically you'll come out of Maya. Okay, so if anybody has any questions in you can just interrupt and ask me, because each of these verses are very, very heavy. And there'll be a lot of things we will be discussing. So, and it'll be very good if you kind of make note of things here, because very revealing purports, very revealing situation, and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentaries are also very revealing. So a lot of stuff that we'll be hearing. Okay, so here mainly previous qualification is not important. One has to engage in the service, complete energy. One has to engage in the service of Lord's devotees. And then to the extent of our surrender and service, the Lord will reveal himself to us. So bhakti is so powerful. Okay. I will move to the next verse. Te mai apeta kila chapalerбhake dante drita kridanake nuvartini chakrupam yadyapi tulya darshana shushamane munayolpabhashini. Although they were impartial by nature, those followers of the Vedanta blessed me with their causeless mercy. As far as I was concerned, I was self-controlled and had no attachment for sports, even though I was a boy. In addition, I was not naughty and I did not speak more than required. So here, so followers of Vedanta, so Pandita Samadarshina, so these devotees are always, they see equally. They say equally. Whether somebody is qualified or not qualified. Okay, so let me first read Prabhupada's purport, then I'm going to read from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's purport. Vedantavadis are followers of Vedanta, so indicate the pure devotees. Vedantavadis initiated the boy. Now, there is no word like initiation here, but basically, blessed. So blessed me with their causeless mercy. This is initiation. So he initiated the boy, even they initiated the boy, even before he became self-controlled and was detached from. So, so here Prabhupada in the purport is saying, even before he became self-controlled and was detached from childish sporting, etc. But in the verse it says, I was, as far as I was concerned, I was self-controlled and had no attachment. Now, when we read this verse, it might look like he had already these qualifications. But actually purport kind of makes it clear, saying that it was by their mercy. He had no qualification, right? As we discussed in the previous verse. So, but they blessed him because they are impartial, right? But Prabhupada says that he was disciplined. But before initiation, boy became more and more advanced in discipline, which is very essential for one who wishes to make progress in the line. So the key here is that he was disciplined. He did not have any qualification, but he was disciplined. And it looks like, they gave him mercy because he was just serving. He was serving them. And even though he did not know really anything, he was not asking for them for anything, right? He was engaged in their service and they're merciful. I said, oh, this boy is so sincere. He's so disciplined. He's doing everything so nicely. Oh, this is nice. This is how we get the mercy of Guru and senior devotees, right? When we are sincere and very disciplined and we are trying to do everything nicely, automatically those devotees, advanced devotees, they'll feel, oh, this is so nice. He's doing such nice service. This is blessing. Because when they feel like that, they are pleased, which means our Lord is pleased. When Lord is pleased, you automatically will bless the devotee. So this discipline is very important. Many times I've seen, okay, 8 o'clock means not 8 o'clock, 8:10, 8:15, call people for some service. They just come at their own convenience and they said, oh, I got stuck here, I got stuck there. This is not discipline. And if we are not disciplined, then we will not make progress in spiritual life. Right? So which is one of the things I realized when I came into Krishna consciousness. My father was very strict. We were very strictly disciplined. So then I realized saying that it was a big asset for me when I came into this devotional service, because everything is about pakka discipline, like military. Prabhupada elsewhere writes, right? Military discipline. Sometimes these things, it might become difficult for people, but it is good to do, to have this kind of discipline. Then we will make progress, right? So he became more and more advanced in discipline before the initiation. So he was disciplined, and that pleased them, though he did not have any other qualification. So they initiated him. And before he had not become self-controlled, detached, etc. But because of their mercy, he became self-controlled. He became detached from sports. He was not naughty. He did not speak much. He was simply engaged in service because of their mercy. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur here saying that the sages are equally good-tempered and bad-tempered, those who are praiseworthy and those who are to be criticized, those who have good conduct and those who are sinful. And thus, they should not show mercy to one and reject in disgust another. However, they showed mercy to me. Though great devotees such as Bharata and Prahlada see equally, they also show some partiality concerning giving mercy. Their giving mercy to Narada for the first time did not depend on Narada's good qualities and show of respect. He developed the good qualities by their mercy. So here, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying slightly differently. So he's saying it was not because they saw show of respect, but both statements are there. Which is why sometimes when we are reading, Acharya's commentaries, Prabhupada's commentaries, we might get confused. So in one place, previous line, he said, great devotees such as Bharata and Prahlada see equally, but still they show some partiality concerning their giving mercy. But they're also saying that they were not partial. But he's saying he developed good qualities by their mercy. So basically, we should understand that there was some little qualification, as in not very explicitly or not to such an extent that it attracted their attention, but just that because he was there, he was serving them sincerely, etc. They were attracted by his service, but also it is not that he was showing so much respect and this one that that was the reason for their mercy. So in some sense, we should certainly understand there is some sense of sincerity that should be there in a person, before which we can get mercy of devotees. For example, if we go to devotees, but then we don't really, it's not that pure devotees, while they would want to give mercy to everybody, if somebody who goes to them doesn't want mercy, then they will just feel bad for them, saying that, oh, so unfortunate, this person, like Vishnu and demigods, for example, right? Demigods always keep asking for material benefits, and Vishnu says, oh, this is not, you should ask for pure devotional service. Why are you asking for these benefits? But then still, because they're engaged in his service, he will protect them from demons, etc. So, which means that, the Lord and the devotees are ready to give mercy, but if the people who come don't seek that mercy or seek something else, then they will not get that mercy. But if somebody is open-hearted and he's just sincere without really wanting to go in a wrong direction, then they'll be ready to give their mercy. So that itself somewhat becomes like a qualification, though it's not such a big qualification, right? Or at least the devotee is not disqualifying himself by asking something material. So, it's a very subtle, this one. Basically, they are impartial by nature, so they're ready to give their mercy to anybody. But still, because somebody shows, somebody is wanting to get that mercy, they will get that mercy. Like sunlight, sun is impartial. The rays are spread everywhere. But if I am going and sitting inside the house, then I have no access to those sun rays, right? But if I'm out in the sun, then I can experience that sun's rays. So similarly, if we are open to receiving the mercy of Guru devotees, then we will receive the mercy. And receiving the mercy means following instructions, right? Somebody just wants to do lip service but don't want to follow anything, even though the devotees want to give them mercy, but the people who go to them don't receive their mercy because they're just not doing what they're expected to do, which is to surrender, follow their instructions, etc., etc. So this mercy is not like simply some, something which comes irrespective of whether we want it or not. Mercy only comes when we want it, right? Because it's always there, but when we want it, then only we will get it. So like this, Narada Muni was not, he was not averse to the mercy, right? And he got the mercy because he just wanted the mercy, irrespective of his qualification. That is the whole key point here. So he wanted the mercy, which is why he was engaged in their service. He wanted the mercy in the sense what, like, not that he wanted to progress in spiritual life or anything like that. It's just that he did not shy away from the mercy. He did not reject the mercy. That itself became somewhat like qualification, and mercy gives more mercy. That's what Prabhupada, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying. He developed the good qualities by their mercy, then those qualities became the cause of further mercy. The cause of their mercy was not due to their seeing good qualities in Narada. Yeah, so another way to explain this, right? Like, for example, somebody simply just has a car and he decides to just take a pure devotee from one place to another. Now he might not have really any other qualification, just that he is engaged in some service for them. He will get the mercy, right? So that qualification is just that he is engaged in some service, right? So somebody on the street who is just engaged in their own life and have nothing to do with pure devotees or their service, which means that there are so many people around, right? Like, but they are not coming in touch with devotees. They will not get their mercy. Though the pure devotees want everybody to come and engage in devotion, and so they will go out to preach, etc. But when somebody is even indirectly engaged in some service, devotees are pleased and they are ready, without even considering the qualification of the devotee, of that person, they're ready to give their mercy. And when they give some mercy, that results in the devotee developing more qualities. And then those more qualities result in him getting more mercy. So this is very, very important. Maybe, I can clarify if somebody, I'll just again summarize this. Mercy from getting mercy from pure devotees is not dependent on our qualification, as in whether we're already self-controlled, whether, one thing Prabhupada says that he was disciplined. That was Narada's qualification. Second thing was that he was somehow engaged in their service. Whether he liked it or not, whether he knew what he was doing or not, he was somewhat engaged in his service. And because he was somewhat engaged in his service and he was not averse to their mercy, he received their mercy, right? And when he received their mercy, that he had only discipline as one good quality. Now he developed so many other qualities. Course of time, he became self-controlled, he became detached from sports, he spoke very little, he only engaged in service all the time. Right? So that is the overall summary of this verse, saying that so not being self-controlled, not being attached to something is not the qualification, but the qualification is that they're just willing to do some service, or not even willing, even by some chance, if they do some service, they'll become eligible to get mercy. Okay, so is it clear? I mean, it's a little bit complicated. Okay, also Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur here is saying that mercy. So here there are 4 stages of bhakti revealed so far. One is mercy of devotees, service of devotees, that is Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, then Bhajana Kriya, taking shelter of Guru. So Ado Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya. All the 3 are covered in this 2 verses, is what Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying. Okay, should I?
So one question I had. So when Narada Muni says that, I did not speak more than required, trying to highlight the quality of graveness, or like one aspect is that we should not speak anything except Lord's glories. And another is also about the graveness. So can you please?
Yeah, so here also is just says that he spoke little. He spoke little, meaning, basically we have to also look at Narada Muni's age. As a small boy, right? Generally, kids at that age, they'll speak some, rattling something, right? Relevant, not relevant, right? So he here basically saying he did not speak more than required. As in, they said, "Can you get this for me?" He'll say yes, right? Like that. As much as required, only he spoke. Not that he obviously was not talking about Krishna because he did not know anything, but he did not simply like talk about some unnecessary stuff, or like children, they speak just without even thinking, right? So he was not like that. Which means that he got special mercy, because at that age, if kids are so serious minded, not wanting to do sports, not being naughty, and not just simply speaking something or the other, that means that he got the mercy of the devotees. So he started progressing in that line of becoming grave, etc., etc.
Yes, true. So why I'm asking this, because also for the preachers, right, who are like in the adulthood or youthhood. So yesterday there was a seminar, right, on basically the bhakti homes, and one thing which came out from there is that sometimes if we are very grave and only speaking to the point and all, we might not connect with the audience, and in order to make them not feel that it's a culture shock, because obviously no one in this society is actually today following it, even the basics. And if a pakka preacher who is basically doing it very properly, if he or she goes and then demonstrates that kind of seriousness, then there might be an issue in getting that family connected and all that. So basically, what is the right balance for a devotee, especially in office when we are working? We might not be preaching at that point of time. What should be our ideal behavior? So I actually wanted to cover from that aspect also.
Okay, got it. Okay, so there are 2 scenarios you're talking about. One is from a preaching perspective, the other is office and other dealings, right? Now, office and other dealings, we should be like Narada Muni. We should speak only as much as required, but we are not being curt. So we should please understand this. See, sometimes we think that only if I blabber, it is good. No, if somebody speaks to us, we can speak only little, but the way we communicate can be pretty impactful, right? It is served the purpose, and at the same time, the person whom we are interacting with will not feel like this guy doesn't like to speak to me, or so there is no negative feeling inside why I am not talking much. I'm just talking as much as required, right? This is itself a nature change that one has to develop, right? And it takes some time, right? So office, it is just cordial conversations, respectful conversations, but to the point, not necessary to end. If, for example, somebody is talking about some crap, we don't have to contribute into that conversation thinking, oh, if I don't speak, people will think I'm not social. It doesn't matter. At work, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, they're really not evaluating your social quotient, right? They just want to know if you're delivering stuff. And if you're a leader, even at work, then a similar, this one like preaching is required to some extent, meaning people should not see being grave. What does being grave means? Being grave means that not talking frivolously, right? That means not talking about things which are not relevant, right? But actually that is not required. What we require is Atmavat Sarvabhuteshu, right? This is a Vaishnava. What does a Vaishnava do? He looks at everybody as himself. He is affected by the unhappiness of others. He's happy with when he sees others happy, right? So we should look at everybody with the same feeling of compassion, whether we are at office, whether we are preaching. And what is that mood? That mood is a helpful mood of helping those people out. Why? Because they are stuck. Now, how do we help people? Not day one, we don't go and start giving philosophy to them, right? Which is why it is very difficult for people to understand preachers many times. Like, many people cannot understand His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Maharaj. Because they think that that is his only nature. No, that is his Vyasasan nature. Vyasasan nature is giving Shastra as it is, right? It might look very repelling to many people, or they might feel that this is the nature of this person even off the Vyasasan. No, there are two natures. On the Vyasasan, there is no frivolity, there is no casual conversation, there is no nothing, right? It's just sadhu, cut, give message as it is. But when it comes to individual personal dealings with people, there is a clear show or demonstration of compassion that Vaishnavas show, right? Which means which is why actually in Bhagavatam, multiple places it comes out saying that one cannot become a devotee if he doesn't respect all other living entities. The first thing is, whoever it is, whether it's people who are reporting to us, strangers whom we are preaching to, etc., we should first show a sense of respect, right? Which itself is not, it moves us away from this gravity kind of listen, because, we are showing respect irrespective of what their position is, what our position is, etc., right? So first is showing respect. Second is really showing concern. And this concern is for what? Because they are stuck. They're stuck in their life. And we want them to come to bhakti. So we will show genuine concern to them. How do we show genuine concern? First, there has to be like genuinity in, for example, somebody is unwell. We should genuinely try to help them in that situation, saying that, okay, maybe he just is not doing the right thing because he doesn't have clarity. Maybe he's got clouded because of his tension about his condition, whatever, right? If we have clarity of thought process, we can help them, saying that, okay, why don't you go and do this here? Why? Because that will help them understand, saying that, our intention is to take them in the right direction. What is the direction and right direction? First thing is that they have to, understand that we want to help them out. And the first stage, people will understand when we are trying to help them out at their level, right? Which is, I have a material problem. Yeah, artho artharthi jignasu gnani, right? Such people, they should be shown their way. That's why Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, don't disturb them. Engage them in whatever way possible. So help them out. Then they'll feel, oh, this person, he really means, like, he's genuine. He's trying to help me out, right? Then he'll come and ask, saying that, okay, this whole world is full of people who are so envious and self-centered. Why are you trying to help me? That is the compassion of a Vaishnava, because that is the first stage. The second stage is going to them and telling them, see, this world is miserable. We know so many people are suffering and we can't see their suffering. While we cannot possibly help everybody from all their problems, but material problems, at least we know a solution which will work for everybody. Right? So obviously they will then want to hear from us. But if you don't create a conducive environment for people to hear from us, then it's useless. So most of the times, at least the way I apply this in my preaching life is I first build a personal rapport with people. And this personal rapport is just simply, how are you? Ghar mein kaise hai log? Just because actually it is a sincere inquiry to understand that devotee's situation, that person's situation, right? How his family is, what kind of challenges he's going through, etc. Because it will help us to kind of speak in a way that will that he can understand and that will appeal to him. It will also help us to connect with him, and it's not false. It's not like we are trying to put a farce, like some show, right? We genuinely want to help him out. Because if people's material problems prevent them from engaging in bhakti, then even if they're interested, they will not be able to come, right? So somehow, sometimes, we also have to engage in understanding devotees, their problems, and trying to address them. For example, you say somebody's house, somebody's spouse is not favorable, or husband or wife is not favorable. Then somehow we have to try and help them solve that problem. So this is a genuine interest. So when we build that relationship with the people, and when they see genuinity in us, right, not like some fake stuff, automatically they will get attracted. They want to come to us. They want to speak about their problems. They want to discuss things with us. Then we can connect and we can give them the knowledge that is required. But if I'm aloof, I'm just giving class and then sitting in one corner, then somebody says Hare Krishna, I would say, oh yes, Hare Krishna. This is not how a devotee anyway behaves. So that gravity is actually misunderstood. Gravity doesn't mean like acting like a freak, or like some some alien kind of behavior, right? Not present with people around us. Obviously, preaching means being there with people, for people, but not getting drawn towards them, but drawing them towards you. So it's a lot of effort. That is why Prabhupada said, saying that making one person devotee is like tons of blood is spent. So it's a big effort. And for example, somebody talks about, say, oh, I'm having a lot of trouble at work. We don't generally just go and dismiss our saying, I am material world essay. Then he will never be able to understand what we are saying. Then first we have to talk to him in his language. Oh yeah, why? What is the issue? Oh, too much of work. I don't get time at all. Then I said, yeah, sometimes these things happen. Things will change. Generally, just some casual conversation, just to give him comfort at that point of time. And then next, he would want to come and speak to you, saying that, okay, there's something he's saying. At least he feels like genuinely interested in my situation, not like, because devotees are sincere. So nobody will feel that we are just, trying to take advantage of them, or criticizing them, saying that, hey, you don't know how to deal with this. No, we don't do neither, right? We sympathize. But it's important at that point of time to not just try to pull them out and give them like the highest, situation of the highest knowledge, right? So we empathize with them, we be with them, and we help them to realize what their situation is. And that is why preaching doesn't mean giving all the truths at one time. Preaching also doesn't mean giving false things. Preaching means giving whatever a person can digest at that point of time. Actually, Prabhupada, in 12th chapter Bhagavad Gita, right, when he's talking about different like levels of, or how Krishna says, completely engage your mind and intelligence in me. If you cannot do that, engage in Vaidhi Bhakti. If you cannot do that, work for me. If you cannot do that, offer, engage in some good work. In that, Prabhupada says, engage in some good work. So people might not be really so ready to accept Krishna consciousness. Engage them in some good work, meaning, whatever, something, which is maybe slightly remotely connected to Krishna consciousness. Somehow So the point I'm making is that a preacher needs to really think, understand the position of that another person, and not simply just always take them to stage of pure devotional service. So it is a very involved job, full-time job. I don't know
Yes.
if I answered, but a
Yeah,
lot of
answer.
considerations.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's not one one solution fit all. It's also depending on that person. Yeah. I got that answer too. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. One more verse will do. Okay, this is also very nice. Uchchistale pan anumodito dvijay sakritsma bunje apasta kilbishah evam pravrittasya vishuddha chetasas tadharma evatma ruchi prajayate. Once only by their permission I took the remnants of their food, and by so doing all my sins were at once eradicated. Thus being engaged, I became purified in heart. And that time, by very nature of the transcendentalist, became attractive to me. Always keep looking out for this, getting remnants of pure devotees. Okay, but please know whether the remnants you're taking from the devotee is pure. Just don't go by is from ISKCON, or he's very famous in this world. Not by those considerations. You should know if that person is really pure, right? In all his dealings. If that devotee is absolutely pure, and if you are fortunate enough to get the remnants of that devotee's food, then all our sins are at once eradicated. And I've been fortunate to get this multiple times. And many a times, I don't know why suddenly I experience some change in heart. At that point of time, I was not very clear. I said, why? What happened? And today I can understand, saying that these situations, opportunities where got this Uchishta, actually transformed me internally, like what is being said here, right? And many devotees have experienced this. We should always keep looking out for this. The more we get an opportunity, the more we'll make progress. And Narada Muni is saying only once, not many times. But Narada Muni's situation was very different. He only once took, and then he did not engage in sinful life or nonsense life, right? But because we are in the city, and and also because he was a child, right? The impact is so much more. So we, and this is also interesting, right? So for children in our house, etc., we should do this, because without their knowledge, they will become purified. We want to we willingly accept contamination. So whatever purification we would have got, we will again contaminate. But he did not have any contaminations, right? So he was pure. He was in a pure environment. He took their remnants. He became purified in art, right? And at that time, very nature of transcendentalists became attractive to me. So this is very, very nice. The qualities in that person, this is an infection. Prabhupada says this is an infection. So pure devotion is infectious, literally infectious in this way. Like, disease spreads like corona. We said, okay, coughing, don't touch this, that, wash your hands. Infection, right? Pure devotion is as infectious. Just because that pure devotee has touched the food in his mouth, his whole existence is pure, right? And so when we take that remnant, we just get impacted by the qualities, or we get influenced by the qualities that is there in that devotee, which is that transcendentalist devotees are attractive to him because he is a devotee. He is attractive to other devotees. Other devotees are attractive to him, and the same quality comes in us. So we become attracted by the nature of a devotee. So we can look at those devotees and say, oh, I also want to become like that. And that is the beginning. That desire, that seed, that I want to become like this devotee, pure, and I want to dedicate my life to serving Krishna. That simple, small desire, if we can, sow in our heart, this is the solution for perfection. Because that desire will start growing. It will become so big that it will become irresistible when we want to act on it more willingly. Right? So these remnants of food is super powerful. So here, Prabhupada is saying, there are many things which hinder one from entering devotional service, but by the association of pure devotees, all obstacles are removed. This we'll discuss in the future verse also. And yeah, we discussed this pure devotion. Devotee becomes practically enriched with the transcendental qualities of the pure devotee, which means attraction for the person of God, its name, fame, qualities, pastimes, just by eating remnants. A neophyte devotee practically becomes enriched with all these transcendental qualities. So it's amazing, we should just every time make use of this opportunity if it exists. So here, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying, having taken their food, I developed without effort bhakti in the form of hearing, chanting, remembering the Lord continually. Having developed a tendency for bhakti after eating the devotee's food, which applies to anyone else as well, I inevitably developed a taste. So here the verse says, Ruchi Prajayate. Ruchi is taste. So this is now making progress. So in the previous verse, we saw Adav, Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya. Then now what happened? He became purified, which means Anartha Nivrutti happened. And then there was Nishta, and then he also came to Ruchi. Just by eating the remnants. So he developed a Ruchi for hearing and chanting. So Nishta Ruchi has come. Yeah, so in 2-3 verses, how Narada Muni has made progress. He just had little faith, he engaged in that service, so he did Sadhu Sangha, then they initiated him, Bhajana Kriya, then Anartha Nivritti happened because he was engaged in their service and he also got the opportunity to take the remnants. Then he became fixed in his service and he also received Ruchi. So this Ruchi is very, very important. We have to develop Ruchi for devotional service. And how do we develop Ruchi? By this kind of, magic, or by associating with those devotees who have Ruchi. We'll develop Ruchi. But this is like a super shortcut, super fast shortcut. If you just get the remnants of a pure devotee, because he has Ruchi, he's gone much beyond Ruchi, but he obviously has Ruchi. So we will also get influenced by that Ruchi. So beauty of bhakti, how one can make tremendous progress in very short time. We're just talking about 4 months. Narada Muni made so much progress. So sometimes devotees say, no, I've been, so many years, I'm not making any progress, because we don't want to make progress. We want to remain stuck, so we will remain stuck. But if we want to make progress, we can make tremendous progress. So, which is why every time I read these verses, it is so inspiring. It is so inspiring, because we don't have to take lifetimes to cross this material world. One lifetime we can do. But we have to follow these steps. So we should have Shraddha. If you don't have Shraddha, we will not come to devotees. Narada Muni, by fortunate means, whether he had Shraddha or not, because his mother was working there, he became engaged in serving devotees. Then he got their mercy. Then he engaged in their service. Then he got more mercy. So he made progress. He also got their remnants, which means that even more progress. He became almost fully purified. Then he developed a taste for hearing and chanting, for devotional service. So much progress can be achieved by adopting simple process of bhakti. We don't have to do some fancy stuff. Unfortunately, today this is the fad today nowadays, right? We want to do all fancy stuff. We don't need to do any fancy stuff. We simply follow the process strictly and we will achieve result. There's no doubt about it. And that is why this Narada Muni's life is a real example. But we can understand that he didn't engage in nonsense. You know, people want to engage in nonsense, but at the same time want to achieve this kind of progress. That's not going to happen, right? If we engage in doing nonsense, we are not going to make progress. And nonsense basically means taking it easy. Sahajiya bhava. Yeah, kuch bhi chalta hai. And especially many Matajis here, so I'm telling. I know of devotees in temple who, in their unclean period, they go and engage in service inside the temple. I mean, like, how unimaginable it is. You know, and this is in the name of, the bhakti, we can do anything. This is sahajiya bhav. Totally sahajiya. Right? Just people take everything so lightly that, you know, kuch bhi chalta hai. It's not going to make progress. In fact, we will offend, we will do seva prad, and then our progress will be curtailed. So we have to follow rules, as in rules are there to be followed, not to break for us to break those rules. You know, if the intent was to break the rules only, why would acharyas give those rules? They're more intelligent than us. They would have said, "No, it's okay. Anyway, they'll break. Why do I give?" No, they're still given because they know that we have to follow somehow or other. So we have to, if we strictly follow the process, again, for which, you know, it again comes down to whom you're associating with, what is their thought process, what is their philosophy. Not everybody accepts Prabhupada as is. That is another very, very unfortunate thing. Everybody thinks they are at Prabhupada's level, so I can tweak. I can change things the way I want. Unfortunately, we don't have that adhikara, but we have taken that adhikara. So anyway, so the process is followed properly, then we will see results. It's a very simple formula. So we'll stop here. If anybody has any questions, you can kindly ask. No questions? All clear? So the key thing is to develop a desire to make that progress. If we don't have a desire, then we will not seek the opportunities which can give us mercy. So for example, if I don't have a desire to really make progress, even if there's an opportunity for me to go engage with other devotees, I will not do. I will be sitting at home. I will do my own stuff. I will be in their own my own material life. But if I have the desire, then I'll keep saying, "Oh, okay, can I do something else? Can I go there? Can I do this?" So we will somehow try to engage with devotees, engage in service, experience that enriched atmosphere, right? And that will give us mercy. Gives more mercy. That is the beginning of mercy. That will give us more mercy to go closer to Krishna. So somehow we should engage in the association of devotees. Okay, thank you. So we'll end here, and Krishna willing, we'll meet next week. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam bhavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah anantakoti vaishnava. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna Prabhuji.